Still need to put the cab door seals on. I put the striker on here, but you can see it quiets down when I pull that back. So the door seals are shot, and I got it set in the box. I want to see how she runs with the new injectors. She is running strong. Love it. Finally. And yes, it does have more power than the other 850J I had. But that's based off of 15 years ago memory. But it was an 8.1. It just wasn't this newer engine, and it wasn't brand new. But running good. And we got the new cab door seals on them, the noon hour. Quiet, beautiful, machine's running great. Finally got ourselves a great machine, I think. Thought I'd explain to you guys what we're doing here. Got an old contour terrace, a bench terrace here, which is a bench kind of like a contour. It's a grass back slope with an intake out in the field. These were put in the 70s. This was a 40. There's a 40 on the north, and there's a farm to the south. These are all been incorporated over the years into one farm, one field, one owner, which is obviously us. So what we did is we're going to come in here and remove this old bench. And if you can see, I'll zoom. We have the intakes, and they come along to where I started building. They'll focus right there, and the terrace will come around, and this will all get graded out in here and removed. Now we're focused, and this will be a new one field, one layout, modern day narrow base terrace laid out field. Much easier to farm, not going up and down the hills, not dealing with the erosion, not dealing with the narrow terraces. And all farms are tied together, which the ones that were north of here did not even have any terraces on them, so it was erosion. That's why we had hay in the back end of this 40. So finally, after years of coming together, we are completing what needed to be done a long time ago. We're just going to check for some leaks here. Make sure everything's nice and dry. We had a little fuel leak earlier. I don't know. I'd say there may be a little residual there. I don't know if it's leaking still or not. This is a little 24-volt pump, and it charges it up. This charges the system initially. It goes up here to your injection pump, which is around 7,000 pounds in idle, 20,000 pounds full bore. That pressurizes up the rail, and that goes into the injector at high pressure. And the injectors are electronically fired through this. This would be your pressure sensor, temperature sensor, and then this is your pump control valve. Yeah, it felt great being back in a dozer. I really do enjoy that style of work. You guys will get to see plenty of this machine coming up. I just wish there was some moisture for the dirt to adhere to things a little better. It's literally like pushing sand. Overall, the dozer is comfortable, quiet, easy to operate, and majorly improved over the C series that we had previously. And no thanks to Murphy Equipment, we did all the repairs ourselves, and the machine runs top notch. Very happy the way it turned out, but would have liked to have been running it sooner. After a rain delay, back to the bean harvest today. It's northwest wind, cool to cold. Last December, a year ago, we had a tornado outbreak and like 75-degree weather. If you look back in the videos, we were running an excavator at that time period, and had some really odd weather that day. And ever since then, we went to a cold dry cycle, and it's just been very unusual how it's like a little front comes through, and then right back to those northwest winds, and right back to the dry tundra. So it's a good day to be in a climate-controlled cab here. The ground is very dry, almost to the point where it's like becoming deflated. It looks odd. Need to do a lot of work to this farm, and as you guys saw in the other clips, we were working on the Terrace and Tile project. Now the dozer's up and running strong. But the bad news is, I don't know that we can do much more than just get the dirt work done, because the ground is like so hard, so chunky. I'm I'm not totally certain that a disc chisel will even go in the ground. And I really don't think you're going to want to apply anhydrous or anything. It's going to be anything ground penetrating for fertilizer, because it has to have moisture to adhere to, and there isn't any moisture. I've never seen anything like it. It's the driest I've ever seen it. Last fall, I started talking in the videos about how to build a better combine. One of the things that would make a lot better combine would be when you go down through that swale, as I just showed you, that the freaking header actually go back down. It's like you go down through it, then the head, it'll come up and it kind of like has to readjust, it comes down. It doesn't just... They could do better. I'm not sure the camera will pick this up, but we got a rut, a big lump of dirt, and another rut. It's just another swale that's got to be dealt with on this farm. And that's the kind of things that have been let go down here. Got to start getting them fixed. That's why we need that dozer. One of you guys that's really good with John Deere combines, explain something to me. We were out here the other night, working great, no loss. I had everything dialed in on this corner post for losses off the rotor. Beautiful. It rains. We took yesterday off and dozed all day. Beans are too tough to cut. A couple squalls of rain came through. Come back out here today. Everything's dried off, good shape. And we're completely pegged out with the exact same settings. But it's on the rotor side. Try speed rotor up or down. Doesn't seem to affect it. Tighten concase up or down. Doesn't seem to affect it. The only difference is today we have about a 50-mile-per-hour wind coming in. Any other guys ever see this goofy crap? Like you can set this machine 100% perfect, come back 5 minutes later, it's all different. Very hard to hold the camera and film at the same time. But this is a Brent 1196 grain cart with the joystick controlled spout option. Integrated U-Harvest Pro scales, electric roll tarp, and many other nice options. And no, the gate was not 100% open because filming and then filling a truck are near impossible. It fills the truck nice, even, and quickly. And you can clearly tell that this cart was made to fill a truck, which obviously carts are made to fill trucks, whereas filling gravity wagons with it was a little bit more challenging as they're much higher sided, wider, and not near as long. I very much like the Avalanche series Brent grain carts, but at the same time would prefer if the auger came out at a farther angle like a V series or a J&M. The problem with those though is the augers do not move up and down or have some of the features of this auger. So if you could combine the two grain carts, you'd have the ideal cart on the market. But as of I know, right now, nobody builds all of those combinations in one particular machine. This is a pretty new 96 series cart. Brent did unveil the 98 series carts, which are available for right-hand unload. That was an option this year, but for loading the trucks, I don't mind the left hand. And the IVT on the 8R280 works awesome, as you can use the foot pedal to inch your way ahead as the cart or as the truck peaks up. And the truck trailers work out about perfectly with the grain cart load, which is a nice thing to have everything synced up in size. Always a touch more in the cart than the truck will hold, but that's just about perfect. You want just a little bit of extra. So I'm quite happy with the combination and pair. And yes, that heaped up load is legal because of the fall proclamation weight limit here in Iowa that was extended. With that particular trailer size, you can basically windrow it out and still be weighted. And no, we did not roll the tarp over the pile of grain. Did not even tarp it because this load was literally going about 1.5 miles. And on gravel, we only drive those trucks a maximum of 20 miles per hour. Joystick in my hand, lots of lights. Nighttime run. Got the back of the cab lights on here. This T800's got some real nice rear lights here. Come back, we got the internal bay lights. Turn them on. We got our apex lighting shining bright here. See real well. See right in the hopper. Everything we need to see. This is a very rough area. This used to be pasture, and the grass comes in because the deer come out here real bad. But you can see all the timber right here. And yeah, I'm gonna zoom around. That's 300 and some acres of just solid pasture. This pasture did just sell about $1 million. Buyers, a typical buyer, bring your cows out, dump them, and leave. There was about 90 acres we figured farmable on it, but it wasn't enough to offset the $1 million cost. So much for just a few sprinkles. Let's say we're rained out, toughened up real quick. Dude said, "Oh, be lucky if it hits the ground." Yeah, well, it's pretty blue out there. Well, it even dampened up the concrete. Oh, hello, you. Guess that gives us time to work on this project. This is a 6420. Zoom out here so you guys can see it. Little tractor here. This is basically a modern day 4020, but these are German. And this would be an R series now. As you can see, we got it quite tore apart. It's a cosmetic mess. Mechanically, it's pretty good, except for a few things like the motor mounts and just little stuff broken. The interior was a pigsty, so we are ripping it apart and redoing it. Rear end of the tractor was also a bit of a mess here. They'd even taken some of the sway block stuff apart. PTO shield's all bent. And like, look at this thing, it's even twisted. So this tractor's getting a complete makeover, including a new hood. Hood was bad on it. But the reason we bought it was because it was well optioned. It's about as many options as you can get for a power quad. And when we get done with it, it will look great. And we don't have much money in this little tractor. We don't have a lot in it. So we're pretty happy with it. We knew buying it that it was going to need some work, but as expected, needed a little bit more. But the worst thing, the parts prices are just so damn high. This knee was shot, and that was down there. That's over $1,000 from John Deere for that. After a 3-hour rain delay, we are back cutting soybeans and going to finish up this field. You can see these sloughs in here where the water was wet this spring. It just literally runs water. By June, the water shuts off, and that's it. So this is in desperate need of tile on this portion of the field. We'll get this done and out of the way, and on to the next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.